MLS originals, each who have found revival on and off the field this year, but one of their seasons will end tonight in the Eastern Conference knockout round between DC United and the Columbus Crew. Here's how the brackets look right now. Wins last night for New York City and for Portland. The game later tonight will determine the matchups. In the Western Conference, we know that our winner here will go on to face the Supporters Shield winners, New York Red Bulls, in the Eastern Conference semifinal. Hello, everyone, and welcome alongside Stu Holden, soon to be joined on the field by Katie Witham. I'm John Strong. One of the biggest midseason turnarounds in MLS history. DC United dead last in the summer. They finished 4th place in the Eastern Conference. All at bottom for sure. 4 more days to their season. Do they have to win this game tonight to validate what they've done this year?
They do, because look, this has been a romantic love story with Wayne Rooney being here and the way that the 4-time champion DC United have been playing this season. But you know what? Nobody remembers that. You know what would be a bestseller? DC United going on and winning their 5th MLS Cup with Wayne Rooney here, with Acosta playing the way they are, the new stadium that every thing that comes with it. So yes, I think they have to win.
Tall odds against the Columbus Crew, same as the situation they were in last year. No one gave them a chance going to Atlanta in the knockout round. They won that game in a shootout. This year, though, the worst away record of any team to make the postseason. Make the case for this Columbus team to do it again.
It's a tough one. But look, this is a team that has some experienced players, guys like Will Trapp, guys like Higuain that know what it takes in this league to get wins. It's a team that also only has 11 goals on the road this season. So they have to come in here. The odds are against them. Yes, this Crew has maybe been saved. We'll talk about that a little bit more during the game today. But they have to turn up tonight, and they have to get it done against the odds, against a DC team that has been playing really well.
What do their players have to say about this? Katie Witham down on the field. How about the Crew players? What do they need to do well tonight?
Well, in the words of Will Trapp, the captain for the Columbus Crew, the Crew have to be disruptors tonight. They're well aware of how good DC United has been in the second half of the season, but so was Atlanta last year. John, you mentioned the knockout round match. Will Trapp said they're using that as a source of motivation tonight after 120 scoreless minutes where Zach Steffen had 8 huge saves. 4 hit the woodwork. They advanced and have confidence knowing that they can win on the road in a tough match. Now, the key for them tonight, a strong start so they can also put their stamp on this game.
Let's get to our starting lineups, brought to you by AT&T. First for DC United, one change from a scoreless draw in Chicago on Sunday. Alyssa Segura comes back into the lineup. That pushes Paul Arriola back to right back.
It is. Now, we saw Paul Arriola playing a game against Atlanta United here where he was arguably man of the match in that right back position. This is a different proposition against a Crew team that like to attack from the wings. Interested to see how he does. Wayne Rooney and Acosta, those two, everybody's been talking about them, and that's for a reason, because they are their star men.
Columbus beat Minnesota at home on Sunday. They make 2 changes from that team. Jonathan Mensah returns in defense from a suspension. Pedro Santos the pick above Nico Hansen at right wing.
Very interested to see how this Columbus Crew team played throughout the game with the ball on the counterattack. Is that how they try to attack this DC team? Pedro Santos on the right. Greg Berhalter said that's because of what he can do defensively in dealing with the overloads on that left side from Acosta. Gyasi Zardes up front, John. 19 goals this season. He is in great form.
And he is the subject of our Opta targeted goals analysis, brought to you by Target, and you see where all those chances are coming. It is this system. He said it's the predictability of service, giving him all those goals right in front of the 6-yard box. How about our Continental Tire Analyst Corner? Stu Holden, what's important for you tonight?
Well, you're looking at one of the men right there. Free up the playmakers. Wayne Rooney, what he has done and been a catalyst to this team along with Acosta. Those two, they were identified by the Crew as being the difference makers. And then for Columbus, be clinical in the final third. That man, Gyasi Zardes, 19 goals this season. He needs to be in and around the goal to finish off the chances that the Crew have been creating.
So all that work, all that effort, energy both teams have put in since the preseason opened in January. One of their seasons is going to end tonight. The other will play on to the next round. We're underway. 2018 MLS Cup Playoffs in the Eastern Conference knockout round. It's DC United in black. It's the Columbus Crew in yellow. It's a DC team that was dead last in the Eastern Conference in the summer at one point, 13 points below the playoff line, having spent almost the entire first half of the year away from home. And then in mid-July, Wayne Rooney happened. Audi Field happened. It took them until mid-August to get off the floor of the conference, but they've won 12 games here in this building. Only 2 teams in league history have finished their seasons better than DC have. And here they are at at home in the knockout round against the Columbus Crew, who this time last year, they were on fire at the end of the regular season, and they walked into a hostile environment. Atlanta ended up surviving in a wild knockout round game, a scoreless draw, and a shootout victory. Ended up getting to the Eastern Conference Championship for the second time in 3 years. They left it late to the final day of the season to clinch their playoff spot. They struggled away from home, but can they pull off another surprise? That ball's going to run out on Justin Merrim before he could cut it back. And by the way, in MLS history, only 2 knockout round games have gone to shootouts. This man was in the building for both of them. He was the referee in Atlanta last year, the game against Columbus. He was the 4th official in that wild night between Portland and Sporting Kansas City 3 years ago. So might Alan Chapman be our golden ticket to something special tonight, the referee of last year's MLS Cup. All right, well, everyone taking a breath. How do you expect this thing to look early on?
I'm really interested to see how the Columbus Crew build up, and do they try and press DC United when they have the ball? And here they are again in a transitional opportunity.
Into space, got it behind him. Joseph Moore, the left back. Birnbaum coming to help as Zardes blasts the shot over.
These are the areas, though, John, where I think Columbus Crew, this is what I was getting into, where they can have opportunities in transition when DC United are trying to push numbers forward.
Now, 2 meetings this year, they both came very early, each team winning at home. The home game for DC was in Annapolis, Maryland. Some playoff history, you got to go back about 2 decades, though. 3 straight years they met in the Eastern Conference Championship, the old 3-game series. DC won all 3 years. Part of their 3 MLS Cups in the first 4 years of the league's existence. It's been a while, and so the point being, we're really starting from scratch with the matchup tonight. Ben Olsen was a part of a couple of those series as a player. He said it's been a long slog for us this year. We knew it was going to be this sort of a season, first half of the year mostly on the road. So I didn't think it was going to take the run we ended up having, but we've been in this must-win mentality week over week over week. He said we just got to keep the faith. Not been a strength of DC's this year, scoring goals from set pieces. Wayne Rooney drifting it in. Birnbaum throws a little screen there. It's cleared away as Acosta couldn't do anything with it. Rooney able to outduel Federico Higuain.
Just watch for Acosta tonight for DC United. It was something that Greg Berhalter and a number of his players talked to us about yesterday, John, is his positioning within the field for DC. He drifts. He likes to go and create overloads on the left side. He likes to pick up the ball. And he wants his team to play more of his zone defense there and not get caught out and drawn out of position.
And so trying to clear a second attempt there under Assad's pressure. Here is Luciano Acosta. He has been a renewed player since Rooney's arrival. Outdueled there. They're able to get to the loose ball for Higuain, and he draws the foul from Paul Arriola. He wanted to go quick, DC. That's why Arriola's sprinting back, but Alan Chapman pulling it back. The ball was still rolling. And Greg Berhalter, tremendous success. Playoffs 4 of his 5 years in charge of the Columbus Crew. They got all the way to MLS Cup 3 years ago before falling at home to Portland. They were really a goal away from derailing Toronto's magnificent season last year. A late goal would have won that series on the away goals tiebreaker. And they pull off a second straight surprise in the knockout round tonight. Here's Acosta. Rooney able to return it to him, but he used his arm.
This game's as expected, though, earlier here, John. There's no real rhythm to it yet. 2 teams pressing, not connecting a lot of passes. There's tight. Just wait for it to open up a little bit. But this field, it's moving quickly. They watered it before the game. It's a great temperature. There's a great atmosphere inside this stadium.
There's Acosta. He's got Segura to his right, who scored the winner against Columbus back in April. And it's going to be a foul. See Alan Chapman there. Just having a talking to on the other side of the field with Yamil Assad, who's trying to start offside, get himself back onside for this service from Rooney. Looking for Ariola. And that's going to be out for a goal kick.
It's the second time they've looked for this one, though, on the set pieces, DC United. The first one that Wayne Rooney had was towards the back post when Acosta was there. Then this one was Paul Ariola, the driven ball to the back post to try and head it back across. Not sure Paul Ariola is the guy you want up and jumping for that one.
Well, this is the guy who was Columbus's hero in the postseason a year ago, Zach Steffen. Saved 19 of the 23 shots that he faced. Couple of shutouts, the 8 saves in Atlanta. Saved a penalty in Toronto. Saved 2 penalties in the shootout in Atlanta. He's not been as lights out the second half of this season after a club record 5 straight shutouts in May. And he once again be a playoff hero for Columbus as he has emerged over the course of this year as what looks to be the #1 for the national team. Briant's under pressure there, and he skies that ball out for a Columbus throw. He was with New York City the last 2 years. Remember, New York City defense that got lit up in playoff series. 7 goals allowed to Toronto as they went out in the first round. Lost 4-1 in Columbus in the first leg before making it tied in the second leg. Kofi Opare out with a foot surgery. He's the option. Rooney's going to get on the end of this one. Mensah trying to recover, able to flick it away. Columbus's players stopped for a moment. They thought there was a handball, and they all froze. That's what allowed Rooney the chance. It's going to be a corner for DC now.
Well, it's good pressure from DC United because they forced Columbus then out wide. Let's see if this is a handball. It comes in to hit Acosta's arm. Look, it's in and around his body. That's not a handball. Look, he's played it right into him. And then DC had that transition opportunity. It's played into Rooney. Doesn't get a clear touch on it.
They've only scored once from corners this year. DC United, the fewest number of corners taken throughout the regular season. Rooney in swinger, no one there. And Merrim looking to carry it out. He's got Higuain in front of him. Zardes trying to make his way forward. Merrim spun away from Briant, got hit hard by Canals.
Rooney.
Segura looking in there. Mensah's there to break it up. And they're not on the same page with Harrison Awful, who is backtracking there, and it's given right back away. Acosta, he'll clip it in. Segura is in there. Out jumped in the air by Gaston Sauro.
The Crew right now, John, giving away possession too easy in their own end. The best 2 chances from this game have come in those transition opportunities off of turnovers. They have to take more care on the ball.
That's something we've often said about the Columbus Crew last couple of years.
And they're pinpointing Will Trapp because Will Trapp, in the build-up for the Crew, he drops back deep and he wants to get on the ball. And I've been watching Wayne Rooney and Acosta. They're trying to shield to stop that service into him, and that's the one that Mensah gave the ball away. Now Will Trapp just drifting out to this right side to get on the ball.
Milton Valenzuela, 20-year-old left back for Columbus. One of the few additions they had this season to a lineup which is largely intact from last year's playoff run. Long switch now. And the return wide for Harrison Awful. His cross is blocked by Joseph Mora. And we apologize for the technical difficulties we're experiencing. We'll get back to live pictures as quickly as possible. That's going to be a free kick for DC United. Skipping past one. Segura got dumped to the turf by Artur as they try to play the 1-2. deep, too far for Rooney. Awful only as far as Junior Moreno. Luciano Acosta. Led immediately by Pedro Santos. Moreno cut off by Artur. And it's a big part of why Pedro Santos is in the lineup tonight. For Columbus, defensive help, as Greg Berhalter mentioned, as you mentioned, Stu, Acosta's tendency to drift to that left side of DC's attack. MLS on FS1 is sponsored by Audi. The Audi Player Index tracks every move, every match. To learn more, visit MLSsoccer.com/Audi. Able to stab that away. Saw try to help. And Rin in the middle, lost the ball, trap. Wide for Justin Merrim. He'll engage with Arriola. He'll get the overlap from Valenzuela. Merrim couldn't quite pull that off there to find the right angle.
Just the execution there in the final third, and Justin Merrim, he was in a great spot, had the overlapping run. The space had opened up either for a shot. It's right here, good pass, first one out of pressure. The crew pick it off of an Assad turnover. Either you slip it now and look at the run. Valenzuela's in so much space there.
We asked Merrim last night, how's this year been for you? He said, in a word, dark. He said, I thought I needed a change of scenery. Sort of the speculation about the crew potentially moving was a part of that. So he asked for a trade to Orlando. Well, that turned into a bad situation. Long story short, he ended up getting a move back to Columbus in the summer. Has only scored 1 goal since. Greg Berhalter talked about a player in Merrim who sometimes a little bit too hard on himself, gets in his own head. And Merrim said sometimes you think that's the move you need, a change of scenery. Ended up not being true. And at one point later, when talking about Columbus, he said, back in heaven. Can he be a difference maker for them tonight? Junior Moreno, Segura, he's got Arriola outside, went inside. Mensah's deflected clearance, awful as they are in front of Acosta. Zardes electing to flick that ball along. Higuain chases it down. Merrim's in the middle as well. Higuain all the way to the byline. Now the cross and an acrobatic clearance by Russell Canals.
That's a great clearance there from Canals. And you can just feel when Columbus now pick the ball up. And they're looking to break. The first ball into Zardes, then it's around the corner to Higuain. And he almost gets the pick out here. This not for Canals. That's Justin Merrim, 6 yards out with a clear look at goal. So DC have to be careful in transition as well, because when they have possession, they're pouring numbers into attack. Arriola's flying up to try and get up this right side.
Awful off the side of Assad's head. And Alan Chapman is just going to hold things for a moment and make sure Assad's okay. As you see, Silvio Petrescu, the 4th official, running conversation with both managers tonight. Assad was on the other end last year in Atlanta of the knockout round loss at home to Columbus. Awful dumped into the advertising boards. Higuain for Zardes. For Pedro Santos. Cleared away by Mora. Merrim unable to turn the corner on Arriola. Will get a throw, though. Higuain's flick. Zardes able to pick it up on Briant. Into the space for Trapp. Valenzuela. Higuain stabbing it along for Merrim. Zardes is in the middle. And a flag is up for offside. Katie, what are you hearing from the Columbus bench through 15 minutes?
Offensively, it's all about their shape and positioning right now, John. Columbus, when attacking, they want two full lines going forward, pushing forward, but also quicker ball movement, specifically with their passes and their rotations.
And that was something Greg Berhalter talked with us about last night. He said we're very difficult when we can move the ball quickly, when we're cutting through lines with passes, getting guys in behind. Again, that's the system he's devised over 5 years. Jossie Zardes talked about that with us yesterday, the predictability of the service he's going to get. And yet it's not been translating into results of late. 3 wins in the 10 games at the end of the regular season for Columbus. And Will Trapp mentioned to us a couple times, it's not our preparation, it's not our game planning. Just make it plays, execution.
Execution is the word. We heard that from a number of their players, and it's something that's shown even through 16 minutes today, John, because in those little moments there where that last pass comes in, it was a great spell there from the crew. They're moving the ball side to side. They get the little overload that they want, and then the last pass, it's out of play, or it's Merrim offside, and that's where the crew can find success tonight. Even watching DC United press, they're not pressing together, they're sitting back a little deep. Here comes an opportunity now.
Long run for Harrison Offload to the space from Trapp. Pedro Santos in front of him. Back for Trapp. He scored from here against Orlando. He'll cross this one in. Zardes is waiting for it. Goes straight for goal. Hamid gives up the rebound, but only Arriola was there. Sauro stepping to try to hold it in. Merrim couldn't control it, and then he commits the foul.
Oh, what a great look for Zardes at the back post. And just the way that this one is floated up here from Trapp, it means that Zardes now has to generate the power. He's going back away from goal. And that's a tough header. He does well to get that down in the ground to force a save out of Hamid. Maybe that's one you try the overhead acrobatic strike, but good save from Bill Hamid.
And he's been remarkable since he returned to this team. Another guy looking for a change of scenery, signed in Denmark in the winter, wasn't playing, couldn't get in the lineup, and so returning on a 1.5-year loan in August. 14 consecutive starts is actually his longest run of starts since his goalkeeper of the year season in 2014. Led the league in that stretch in goals against average and save percentage. Only 2 goals allowed in the last 6 coming into tonight for Hamid and DC United.
Just forcing the ball in right now, DC United. This is a great spell for the crew. Let's see if they can capitalize on it, because they're finding space in the middle. They're shifting this DC team around. And Berhalter will be happy with the response.
Valenzuela. Zardes looking to make a run in front. Instead, it's Merrim. Merrim crossing in. Briand heads away. Acosta kept it away from Higuain. Rooney able to turn away from Trapp. He's got a long run to the far side from Assad if he can find him. Acosta running in. The return for Rooney. They're trying to play a 2-man game, and they didn't see the open option on the far side. Poking it away from Segura. Higuain using his strength there on Knaus. Arriola knocked that away, and it's going to roll down to the corner. It's going to stay in play. Arriola chases it down and gets it clear.
That's what you call a home roll there. That was heading out and hit the line and stayed in.
Stefan just skying that out. Berhalter couldn't quite control his first touch.
Here it is. This one looks like it's going out. It's kind of like the pool table I have at home. It's just a little tilted. If you don't know the roll, you don't get the bounce. Good work by Arriola to stay with it.
And Arriola's 4th start at right back. Missed 2 games of his key run. His father, Arturo, passing away on October 10th. And Ben Olsen told us, he told Arriola, listen, you take as much time as you need. And Arriola said it meant a lot to him. It meant a lot to his family, even though it was a key part of the year that he missed those 2 games. And he admitted to us yesterday, I'm not 100% mentally, but as if to say really that it's good for him to be back, be amongst his teammates and friends, and have a good distraction at this very tough time for he and for his family. But he's back out playing in the playoffs tonight, and DC have won a free kick. We've seen the back post service you talked about on a couple of these set piece chances. It's Acosta peeling away on the far side. Rooney trying to get it in there. It's going to find Acosta now. Merrim comes to meet him. Hooked in off of the fingertips. And from Briand. Stefan couldn't control it. There's an injury in there. They're calling in the trainers, but DC has scored.
Well, we talked about it on the first two set pieces, and it's there again. Nobody goes with Acosta. He just drifts to the back post. He picks it up. Stefan makes a big error there. He's got that one in his hands. You can see from his reaction. Puts his head in the turf. But how about Briand just throwing his body on the line to get there? Two Columbus players, and he just beats Valenzuela to it. More determination. He gambles. Right place, right time. And it's 1-0 DC, but that's a bad mistake from Zach Stefan. We talked about how big he was for this team last year in the playoffs, how he's been this season. Look at that. Briand, go on, get it. 1-0.
Well, he was brought in from New York City in the winter. He was benched at midseason for Kofi Opari, and it looked like he was going to ride the pine the rest of the year, but then Opari suffered an injury this fall. Briand has come back in. That's his first goal since July of last year, a game winner against Chicago. The question now, as they do the concussion protocol tests, a thumbs up from him, and that's all well and good, but the doctor's got to sign off on it again as well, and he will. And Briand coming back out. Exactly how they would have drawn it up. Rooney, Acosta, no matter. Briand. MLS on FS1 is sponsored by AT&T.
Terrific turnout tonight here in DC.
Almost as if that's going to be a theme of yours coming up later on at halftime. But this building has meant such a difference, not just on the field, the fortunes of DC United, but talking to people. Dave Johnson, the longtime TV voice of DC United, yesterday at practice, what a difference it's made around the city. Zardes trying to get him behind in this one. Briand had to be careful there. Zardes picks it up. Waiting for support into the middle. It's Will Trapp just trying to pass that one in. It took a deflection. It might have been going wide anyway. It's going to be a Columbus corner.
Oh, what a great decision here by Briand, because just that half second, that hesitation, you thought he was going to make the tackle here. He knows he's not going to get there. He thought about going to ground and said, you know what, I'm going to stay on my feet. I'm going to stand up and defend Zardes. He rolls it back. I think it was going wide, but it took the slightest of touches to go out for a corner.
Ben Olsen told us yesterday, Columbus underrated from set pieces. Second most goals scored from corners this season. And DC United, one of the higher numbers of goals allowed from corners. It's Pedro Santos who stands over it. It's everyone back to defend for DC. They've held the lead a little less than 4 minutes right now. It'll be Higuain, in fact, to send in the outswinger. Briand's up to meet it. Looking in towards Zardes, trying to challenge Briand, who's able to win the header. Rooney got there in front of Sauro. Acosta got there in front of Artur. Alan Chapman happy to let play continue if DC United want to take the advantage as Acosta got dumped to the turf.
And that's going to be a warning for Will Trapp.
Acosta's got an issue right now. He's pointing to his shoe and looking at the bench. pretty much stopped playing right now. Valenzuela is able to hook away the clearance. Orioles again there defensively. Sounds like we've got a member of the DC United staff running back to get another either a shoelace or just a different pair of shoes for Acosta. He's got a flat tire. A switch there. Knocked away by Orioles in front of Valenzuela. Higuain. Pedro Santos. Harrison Awful able to get that cross in. Steven Birnbaum was there. Santos again hooking in the cross, and again Birnbaum has won more aerial duels than any other player since he entered the league in 2014. That was uncontested to get it away. Not really a sprint, though. As Acosta continues in defense. Well, this is where you sort of have to parse out the two different seasons DC United have played, because they've surrendered 8 wins this year when scoring the first goal amongst the league leaders, but they have not done so but once here at home. 9 wins and a draw in the 10 games where they scored first here in this building. Big part of the reason why, look at that. 3rd most points ever won by a team in their final 10 games of a season. And New England, who were out of the playoffs when they started that run in 2014, ended up as runners-up in MLS Cup. An interesting comparison to what DC have done this year. Jermaine Jones, the catalyst for that. There's Russell Canaus. Assad calling for a back post. It's going to find instead of feet of Luciano Acosta. Taking the touch around Arturo, is able to block him off. And Trapp was there to pick it up. And the difference with New England, they were only ever 1 point below the playoff line. Again, DC were double digits out of it, even with games in hand, yes. Even with a backlog of home games, yes. But they've rattled off this string and climbed all the way up to where they have a home game in the knockout round.
It was interesting talking to Ben Olsen yesterday about this team, and he said he thinks this is the best group that he has coached here in DC, and there's a feeling about this team. There's a balance to it. He got some exciting attacking players, and yes, Rooney has made a huge impact, but he likes what he's got in midfield, what Canaus has been doing, what Birnbaum's been doing, and really feels that they can accomplish something special in these playoffs.
Well, DC not have an issue. They're trying to get these new shoes to Luciano Acosta. Silvio Petrescu not letting him throw the shoes on, and if he comes off voluntarily to change his shoes, then he has to wait for the referee's discretion to be allowed back on. And right now, the pace of the game, can you afford to potentially have a couple of minutes defending a man light?
Well, beyond the shoes, since that tackle he took from Will Trapp, he looks like he's been laboring just a little bit. I wonder if it's more than just the shoes right now.
There was no further punishment for that tackle even after the advantage was given. So player, as we said, it's his 3rd year, but he's been an entirely different player since Wayne Rooney's arrival. More goals and assists, for that matter, more complete games this year than the last 2 combined. Back for Stefan under some pressure to get it away. And a collision there between Birnbaum and Pedro Santos, who's getting up holding the side of his head.
Yeah, he gets his arm up early and catches Santos on the side of his head. Steven Birnbaum.
Valenzuela down the line. Oriola got beat. Merrim is there. Merrim takes a touch. Now across. Skewed in front. Chaos of bodies and a tying goal. Federico Higuain. DC United's lead lasts about 10 minutes. Game on here at Audi Field.
Well, Paul Oriola is a right back, John. Sometimes it's a sharp learning curve, and it's your positioning defensively, something he talked to us about, learning the nuances, and you'll see it on this initial pass that comes into Justin Merrim here. Right now, His positioning, not having a look where Merrim, and Merrim, what a great run. He sucks him in and then spins in behind him. That's too big of a gap. And that's where you get in. When you get to the byline, you cause problems. He doesn't get the cleanest of strikes. It's fumbled around in the middle of the box there, and it just falls to Higuain to tap it home. It's a great move, and it just gets caught there. It was Moreno. I think it was Assad as well, but Higuain just couldn't believe his luck, just poking that one home.
Acosta got his new shoes. Ugly, scrappy playoff goals for both teams. And a handful of happy DC United supporters. Higuain actually scored goals his first 2 playoff games since joining Columbus in 2012. Hadn't scored any of the 9 since before just then. And the pendulum swings back.
We've got a game on our hands.
Ben Olsen talked to us yesterday about this being his best group with Arriola at the right back position. They do now finally have Nick De Leon as another option, another converted midfield player to right back, but he's been playing there more regularly the last couple of years. Had been out much of this year with injury. It's a very thin position, though, for DC. O'Neal Fisher had been the right back most of this year, season-ending knee surgery. Taylor Kemp has been out a year and a half, another outside back historically for them. That they even got in the position where they needed to have Arriola play there. Acosta again, a shout, again holding his feet as Gaston Sauro comes away with the ball. Acosta's down behind the play. Zardes for Pedro Santos. Awful trying to get forward. Santos into the stands. Call his own number there.
I'm just watching Greg Berhalter down here below us, John, and he's motioning to the assistant referee on the side and the 4th official. It doesn't like Acosta throwing himself on the ground, and he's motioning and feels that there's a little bit more to that.
That's the 5th shot that Columbus have had tonight. Only 2 of them on target. Boy, the coaches are chirping at each other. Ben Olsen barking at the Columbus assistants. Greg Berhalter giving him the calm down side. So it's a lot of numbers going on here. The point is this. DC United scored 17 more goals than Columbus this year. Based on the chances each team created, Columbus should have had more goals. Columbus, the biggest underachiever this year in expected goals. DC United, the second best overachiever. What does that mean? Well, again, DC 1 attempt at goal, 1 goal tonight. Columbus 5 shots, 3 of them sprayed well off target. They were able to scramble their goal. That has dogged Columbus this year, that they've been creating chances, and Greg Berhalter talked about that. Part of their issues away from home, fewest away goals in the league, that they're not converting these chances. It's too far from Merrim. Higuain able to get there on Briand. And that pattern through 33 minutes has followed the course of this game. Valenzuela for Merrim, and a throw for Columbus. And the other part of the stats that backs that up, Columbus actually the lowest percentage of the shots taken to goals scored. DC this year in the regular season, the highest percentage shots taken to goals scored. Zardes able to control that for Valenzuela. Trapp was trying to find Higuain, but Rooney tracking back to intercept.
Oh, what a pass. He had time to bring that down. Yeah, what a great pick out from Wayne Rooney. I'm not sure what Assad would have done when he picked it up. He would have been between 4 defenders from the Crew, but once again, they've reasserted their dominance. Their ball movement and spacing right now is excellent.
56% of the possession right now. And it has sucked a fair bit of the air and energy out of Audi Field since the Higuain tying goal a few minutes ago.
Yeah, they're finding great spaces between the lines in these little half spaces now, and this is where Paul Arriola, and you saw it on the goal, he gets drawn in, whether do I come out and I close down that midfielder? On that occasion it was Merrim. He tried to, he gets spun, or do I stay back and allow him to pick it up and run at our back 4? And those are the problems because of the positions that the Columbus players are taking in the attacking third.
Trap across for Harrison Awful. 11th straight Columbus playoff game that he's starting, including MLS Cup 2015. Seto's going to take that himself and sent back for Awful. His cross over the bar. From Justin Merrim, what are we just talking about expected goals? Justin Merrim, 4th worst differential this year of any player in the league. The chances he's had and the goals he's been able to actually score from him.
It's so well worked. Again, look, there's a little 2v1. They bring him in. What a ball in from Awful. And then Justin Merrim, he almost has too much time to think about it. His body shape, he's off the ground. He just needs to redirect it anywhere on target. That's a goal.
And you see what Berhalter thinks should have been the option for Merrim. 2 goals this year between Columbus and Orlando. The expected goals value, he should have had 6.
Yeah, well, and you saw Greg Berhalter there motioning that he should have gotten down and headed it, and that takes away some of that miscalculation when it comes down to your foot.
Because here they come again, DC United. Acosta back for Rooney. Rooney takes the touch across for Arriola. His shot took a deflection. It's pinging around. Mensah's going to get there and get it clear. Zardes on a long run. He's all by himself right now. Knaus looking to support. Briant, the defender, in front of him. Zardes got past Briant. Knaus able to knock it away. And it will spin behind for a Columbus corner. Great track meet tonight here at Audi Field.
Yeah, and I tell you what, that run from Zardes has his bench up and clapping right now, players and coaches, because 1 against 3, I just love right there that he decides, he puts his head down, and I just want to run. I want to commit defenders, and he wins a corner for his team out of that. A ball that he picked up at the halfway line. Tremendous work there from Gyasi Zardes.
Which, as we said earlier, this has been a strength for Columbus this year, scoring goals from set pieces, particularly corners. Federico Higuain to play the in-swinger. Everyone back to defend for DC. Higuain back post. Hamid didn't get there, but Mensah couldn't get it on target. MLS on FS1 is sponsored by Heineken. Open your world. What do you make of all this so far?
It's been a fun game, hasn't it? And DC United getting that goal, and the Columbus Crew deservedly getting back in this game. The chances that they've created, I think DC need to do a better job against the ball. They need to get pressure on the ball when Columbus midfielders have it. Will Trapp's dropping deep. He's getting on the ball. These wide positions, their fullbacks right now are dominating DC.
Arriola able to turn the corner on Merrim. Fun battle between those two tonight. Popping out on the left. Awful knocks it away. Thrown quickly back in, though, for Luciano Acosta. Awful back in there. He and Mensah combining. Whether he meant to or not, clipping it up to himself, but he clears in the stands. No rest of Jonathan Mensah. He was suspended over the weekend for yellow card accumulation. Did not play as Columbus beat Minnesota on decision day. Junior Moreno getting it back. Moreno trying to play in. Rooney and Segura with him. Took it himself. Took a deflection. And a DC corner. Their second of the night.
Well, Wayne Rooney, I just thought he was going to have a half yard of space as he gets slipped in. Sauro doing a good job to close that gap down so he couldn't turn and pick out a corner there.
And we saw earlier the DC goal. Stefan couldn't handle the service. It came off his fingertips, and Briant headed in an empty net. And this is right in front of the DC supporters here at what is now a pretty much entirely full 20,000 capacity Audi Field. Rooney swung in. Stefan stays at home, and Merrim out jumping Birnbaum. They already told us yesterday, this is something new for me in the playoffs. I like that. I like the idea of getting these new experiences. I talked about in knockout games, sometimes you panic. You drop that goal against, you sort of don't know what to do, but he said we've done a really good job this year keeping our composure, being able to win in different ways as a mistake by Merrim gifts DC another corner. Merrim hoping desperately, as is Greg Berhalter, that his teammates can bail him out and get this clear. You can see there is a fair bit of wind swirling around here in a part of town they call Buzzard Point, near the water. second touch to it. Pedro Santos working hard, takes the bump from Rooney, and Alan Chapman will give a free kick to Columbus, and Pedro Santos is down.
It's a foul from Rooney. I mean, Santos does well just to shift the ball and to draw the contact. There's nothing more than that, and Alan Chapman ultimately deciding not to play on. There was no advantage. Will Trapp picked the ball, and yeah, he just gets beat. Just leaves a little bit on him.
I don't think Zach Steffen was too concerned because Santos was holding his right shoulder. That's the arm that Steffen dragged him back to his feet with. Second-year designated player, native of Portugal, Pedro Santos. Only goal this year came in the 3-1 win against DC United back in March. Merrill to win the header. Zardes trying to recover back to it. Artur battling in there. Canals as well. Valenzuela stepping in. Trapp knocks it away. Coming up on our Audi halftime report, take a look back at the highlights from this first half. We're going to talk playoff format. We're going to talk attendance. Perhaps you saw Stu Holden's tweet last night. Some people in New York did. It's been a talking point throughout the day. All that and more on our Audi halftime report. Full house here, and we expect one at Bank of California Stadium tonight for the other knockout round game between LAFC and RSL, which will determine the matchups in the Western Conference. We know the winner tonight will play the New York Red Bulls, record-setting season, supporter shield for them. Long-time rivals of DC United. But they've packed him in here. Been averaging just shy of 19,000 fans per game in this 20,000 capacity stadium. 25 playoff games in DC United's history at old RFK Stadium, where they still practice and have their locker rooms. They open up Audi Field in the playoffs tonight. Birnbaum, tough collision there with Zardes. Pushed off it by Zardes. Fans are howling about it. Merrim trying to get around Arriola. Canals looking to recover. He can't. Merrim, can he set up a teammate? Higuain couldn't do anything with it. Rooney able to steer that to Luciano Acosta into the space for Paul Arriola.
It's a silly place, yeah. Artur to give that free kick away, because this is where DC United scored their goal from. Had good service on these wide free kicks. Something that Columbus has struggled to defend with.
Of Rooney as the fans come to their feet here at Audi Field. Final minute of normal time in this first half. On the 2-minute stoppage time. Yellow for Federico Higuain for not retreating for the free kick. Will that come to loom large either tonight or later in the playoffs?
Well, this time Acosta's at the near post.
Rooney sends it in, and that was Saro getting his head away, and it's clipped well over the top by Joseph Mora.
It's just petty here from Higuain. He was told, he was warned multiple times, and you see his reaction as soon as
it's not like there's a line there or anything where he knows where to stand.
I know. As soon as he saw them reaching for the yellow card, he started to back up and plead his case. It's a petty yellow card to pick up.
And there's not much margin for error in the playoffs. Yellow cards in any 2 games before MLS Cup would get you suspended. You can't be suspended for MLS Cup. But anywhere in there, that was the issue with Artur last year. 2 yellow cards in the first 3 playoff games for Columbus. He was suspended for their second leg in Toronto in the Eastern Conference Championship. Anyway, not a player they want to be without. So about 90 seconds left in this half. Zardes and Birnbaum colliding in midair. Birnbaum furious. He's saying that was an arm out from Zardes.
Looks like Zardes came off worse for wear from this one, and he's challenging for it aggressively, and I don't see anything in that. I just see it's two players challenging for the ball, and Zardes is almost because of the contact he takes from Birnbaum that his arms flail.
Career-high 19 goals for Gyasi Zardes, capped off with his first professional hat trick on Sunday against Minnesota. What a trade that was to bring him in from the LA Galaxy. More goals this year than the last 3 years combined. That was getting rid of their top scorer the last 2 years, Ola Kamara. To get him, Mensah takes a bit of an arm from Rooney. Columbus bench is furious right now.
Yeah, I think Alan Travis is going to have to start giving out some more yellow cards here, because this one just over the past 5-10 minutes is starting to pick up a lot of little chippy fouls, a little knocks off the ball, players going over. I don't even think there's much in that one there from Mensah and Rooney. It goes down too easily.
But to your point, Alan Chapman might benefit from a halftime whistle as much as either team, just to try to settle things down a little bit. One final chance, though. Merrim, it's a great ball in by Valenzuela, just couldn't take it with him. Canals was there. So time enough for one more attack. Artur intercepts. Alan Chapman looks at his watch. We play on. Merrim with the ball. Merrim a touch on Moreno. The cross sent away by Briant. The goal scored back in the 21st minute off a Stefan mistake. Higuain finished off a scramble about 10 minutes later. And that's where we stand at the break in the Eastern Conference knockout round. One apiece between DC United and the Columbus Crew. And let's get the thoughts of Crew head coach Greg Berhalter live on the field with Katie.
Greg, your side looked like a different one after the first 10-15 minutes. What was the difference, and how do you get the winning goal coming out in the second?
I think we settled into the match. I didn't love the start, but then we settled in and got them moving. And I think towards the end of the first half, we need to put the ball on the ground and make them run over and over again. I think, our movements will create chances. You saw that in the first half, so we just have to keep going.
Appreciate the time. Thank you.
Now, Ben Olsen talked to us yesterday about the gray areas that Columbus can put you in. He said they'll tweak, they'll change, but they are what they are. So if you choose to try to do X, they're going to try to do Y, and you have to be able to adjust. And we'll see how well his team can do that in this second half, which is underway. And just in case you need reminding, in this knockout round, it's one game. And so if we are still tied after 90 minutes, we would have extra time, potentially penalties. Pedro Santos picking that up as DC couldn't clear. Harrison, awful early cross dealt with. Junior Moreno to get it clear. No changes for either side. Ball comes loose there as Jonathan Mensah lost that duel. He's got to sprint back. Here comes Arriola. Mensah still trying to recover the center back. Arriola for Alyssa Segura. Cutting in. Rooney got a block. Assad couldn't get there. Stefan reacting first.
And Acosta is still limping down here, John, on this near side. This tackle that he had with Mensah before the play, but this is what Ben Olsen wanted. He talked about stretching them vertically, getting in behind. Could do a good job in transition, and it was actually Acosta who committed on that tackle halfway, and this was the one. And just watch at the end of the play again, Acosta takes another knock, and Mensah comes off worse for wear as well, and he's still grimacing.
And they're both in a little bit of pain, it looks like. Mensah struggled adjusting last year. He was seen as being at fault for a couple of the goals Columbus gave up in the playoffs, including as they had to hold on for dear life at Yankee Stadium. Second leg of the conference semifinal. They're much more assured of himself this year. Man down on the far side for DC as Columbus continue. Pedro Santos wide. Harrison Awful picks it up. Awful's cross off the side of Junior Mora's head. He bounces back to his feet. It's going to be the third corner of the night for Columbus. It was Alyssa Segura who was down on the other end, and he's now just trotted back in as DC gets set to defend. Jonathan Mensah, rather late arrival in for Columbus to give him one more target since DC's not leaving anyone up high. Pedro Santos swinging in. Merrim looking to flick. Zardes on the doorstep. Rooney was in there as well. It'll be another corner for Columbus.
They're leaving too much space at this near post right now. Look at the space that Merrim has to run into. The job of the first man, and that's Junior Moreno in this case, is to stop anybody getting in front of him. He's starting too deep right now.
Here it comes again, looking near post. We'll do it all over.
That time he stepped out and got to it. It wasn't the greatest of balls in, but they were very lucky on that last one. It took the deflection, and Rooney had to poke it away.
And Hamid is redirecting Moreno's positioning right now. And assistant referee Jeremy Hansen on this near side, who was part of the crew at MLS Cup last year, spotting a second ball on the far side of the 18-yard box. So here we go, corner number 5 of the night for Columbus. Santos took the last 2 from this flag. Higuain, the outswinger again. It hit Merrim. And last off a DC player.
Yeah, they're really targeting that near post, aren't they, John? The last 2 have gone in, and it's Merrim every time. He starts in and around Bill Hamid, and then he just spins out. Now they're looking to spin this one out towards the penalty area. A lot of movement around Jossie Zardes and Mensah.
And they cash it in, though, for a go-ahead goal. Not on that one. And Arriola hooks it away. Assad steering to the feet of Luciano Acosta. Steffen sprinting back to his goal line. 1v4. Acosta taking off the ball. He's barking at referee Alan Chapman about it. Segura, Acosta. And cleaned up in the end by Artur. Team has a particularly great historical trend coming in. DC United have actually only won 2 of their last 11 home playoff games. That goes back to their run to MLS Cup 2004. It includes technically a draw to New England in the Eastern Conference Championship that year. They're one of the very few home teams to lose in the knockout round. 2 years ago against Montreal, they were 4-0 down late before clawing 2 goals back. But that has been a struggle for them. 1 win in the knockout round coming from behind against New England the year before. And Columbus, you can paint a fairly similar story. They have really struggled away from home, even as they've made runs to the Eastern Conference Championship 2 of the last 3 years. As Rooney looks to pick that up and play it wide. It's Arriola who's made the run forward. Valenzuela out to get him. Support from Russell Canaus. Merrim trying to track back. Arriola deflected ball in there. Merrim got a piece of it. Zardes able to get it partially clear. Man down in the middle for DC. Contact with Zardes, and Alan Chapman is going to blow the play dead. As Junior Moreno, first-year midfielder out of Venezuela, is the man down for DC. And look at Arriola there with the number 2. I think it's twice they feel that Jossie Zardes is someone up high.
Developing train picking off the back of that first half, John, where players are getting in and around Alan Chapman, the referee, after every play. So pleading cases, asking for yellow cards, everything that comes with it. And that's why I think if it gets that way a little bit more, Alan Chapman's got to start giving out some more yellow cards and settle this game down, because it's so intense right now. It is that knockout game. You can see the players are so in tune to this game that emotions are starting to boil over a little bit.
Higuain let that go. Zardes wasn't ready for it. Lebrion almost gave it to him. Moreno back to his feet. Good touch for Segura. Rooney waiting for the run of Paul Arriola. Arriola just taking the touch, trying to use his speed on Merrim. Runs out of real estate. Higuain in the pocket of space. Nice little turn there on Assad to find the space. Awful making a run inside. Pedro Santos making a run outside. He's got Zardes at the back post. It's meant for him, and it's going to sail out for a goal kick. So here you go, for Columbus. They have not won any of their last 13 away playoff games. That goes back to a win in San Jose in 2002. Winning goal that day, our former Fox Sports colleague and our good friend Brian McBride. Now that includes technically a draw in Atlanta. Last year they won in the shootout. They also lost in Colorado in the knockout round in 2011. But historically, not a strength of Columbus. Again, even as they've made these runs to an MLS Cup title in 08, Cup appearance in 15, not always getting wins on the road as Acosta comes away with the ball. Artur backtracking, Rooney on the turn. Junior Moreno for company, all the way across now. Joseph Mora. Acosta, driven in too far for Rooney, too far for anyone.
I think Columbus Crew will be happy the way they started this second half again, John, because you heard Ben Olsen tell Katie Witham at halftime he wants to stretch them vertically, but they're making the game so compact. They're daring DC United to go in behind because they know that they have nobody that's going to run. Assad's coming deep. Wayne Rooney's not going to beat you for speed now over the top. Acosta wants to come deep underneath. So Columbus Crew's game plan defensively, especially with their shape, they're very compact, and they're almost encouraging DC United to try and break them down in those moments.
Columbus do have some subs warming up. Now the team has made a substitution so far. Again, we do have the fourth sub in extra time if we get there now this year. Looking to release there with Meram. Zardes running forward, Higuain running forward, Santos as well. Canals backtracking, Meram cutting inside on the deck. Second save tonight for Hamid. Space opened up as Assad came inside, and Joseph Mora picks it up outside. Native of Costa Rica, first-year left back for DC.
Just watching Ben Olsen below us, John, and he's snapping his fingers and trying to get the tempo from DC United up. So when they have possession, can they move it quicker now from side to side and try and open up some gaps? Because when it moves slowly, it's too easy for them, the Crew, to rotate like that and pick up the space. That's a better ball.
Assad for Ariola running in, got a cross in, collision with Valenzuela on the edge of the box. What's the decision coming here? It's going to be a free kick for DC just outside the box. Ariola's in pain. Valenzuela is down. Brian Puchel, the assistant referee on the far side, also offering his viewpoint on this.
You know what this tackle looks a lot like, John? Ben Sweat on Alejandro Bedoya last night that was not whistled for a penalty, which was inside the box. It's almost identical. Bedoya got the ball away, he got taken out, and it doesn't find a DC United target in the box, but that shouldn't matter. That's still a foul, and that call last night should have been a penalty also. Philadelphia Union, so that's a good call there from Alan Chapman to bring that one back.
Oriolan's to real pain. Rooney standing over. That's the entire Columbus team you're looking at. A line across the top of their 6-yard box. Acosta on the near side trying to peel away. Ariola and Moreno hanging out top of the box. Rooney clipping it back there. Acosta given the screen by Birnbaum, and he's whistled for the foul there. Justin Meram holding his face. Alan Chapman spotted it. A little shove there at the end as well. We'll go the other way.
Well, Wayne Rooney just stands this one up, and Steve Birnbaum runs into Justin Meram in that play. It was seen by Alan Chapman and whistled.
It's a mistake. It's a giveaway to Segura on a bad pass for Trapp. Rooney pushed off it by Artur. Valenzuela got it clear. He got caught in the leg. That's going to be a foul. Rooney barking at the assistant referee on the far side. Valenzuela is down for Columbus.
The supporter on the end loves that, doesn't he? You saw him nodding and smiling, but Wayne Rooney's furious.
That all came from a giveaway by Columbus in possession. Crew preparing to bring on Nico Hansen, who had started last week. He was a player moved to the bench for Pedro Santos tonight. Well,
Wayne Rooney was just trying to open up a gap to get a shot off, and that one got away from him, but on that look, it looked as though he got caught on the follow-through. It wasn't that he even made any contact with him.
Valenzuela back in the play, able to find Higuain on that ball. 3 DC players converge on him. Valenzuela late into Canals. And Acosta running over, barking at referee Alan Chapman. Valenzuela is to finger wag from the referee behind the play right now.
And now Assad's just gone down.
Emil Assad just went down limping. There he is there.
Players going down left and right now. Tackles coming in. Both coaches are furious. Ben
Olsen's yelling at his own players.
He's motioning to his own bench.
Assad limping. Now under pressure. Merrim there forcing a clearance out for a Columbus throw.
Yeah, that's a bad decision there by Bill Hamid. Briant had 2 defenders up his back inside his own 18-yard box, and he played him into pressure. Now they've conceded possession in their own end. They got away with that one.
Is up and ready to come on for Columbus. Mentioned only 11 goals scored away from home this year. Club record, fewest in the league. Their team leader in goals away from home is actually Hansen, 3 of them. And now under pressure in the corner from Artur. It's going to be a Columbus throw. There are many more fans as I look around standing up here at Audi Field than sitting down. You can feel the energy, you can feel the intensity with a half hour to go in normal time. Exactly what we were hoping for this Sunday night when we were in Kansas City and knew we were coming here. Now here's an interesting number. Final 30 minutes this season, DC United tied for the most goals scored in the league. Columbus tied for the fewest goals scored in the league. All of the numbers paint a picture here in favor of DC United, and yet what we've witnessed with our own eyes tonight has been, if anything, a slight favor towards Columbus, and certainly a 1-1 score right now. Luciano Acosta clipping it in for Rooney. Able to play back for Emil Assad. Zard is pressuring, able to find Rooney once more. Rooney waiting for the run of Ariola. Merrim had to get there and did. Trapped to the loose ball. And Merrim able to find the space and play, but Briant will get there. Briant's goal in the 21st minute heading in after Zach Steffen couldn't handle the cross off his fingertips. The lead lasts a little bit less than 10 minutes before Federico Higuain finished off a scramble. So Justin Merrim's night is done. This tough year he's talked to us about yesterday. A couple of golden chances he had, including one on the doorstep. He went with his feet. Berhalter wanted him to go with his head. He put it over the bar. And he will come off now. And on comes Nico Hansen. And Katie down on that Columbus bench. What can you tell us about the change for the Crew here, their first of the night?
Crew assistant Josh Wolf told me that with this substitution, they're going to push Pedro Santos out to the left, but they feel like the game's gone a little bit static for them. They need to become more vertical, stretch the field. The reason they went with Nico Hansen is his ability to run off the ball, find the pockets inside, and for some fresh legs.
Hansen, a second-year player, born in Denmark, raised in Sacramento, came out of New Mexico. He only played a handful of minutes in the playoffs last year. He was an extra-time sub in Atlanta, made in the shootout. in the victory in the knockout round. First change of the game for either side tonight.
I just wonder as well for DC United how long Assad can go. Having only recently come back from an injury, came off the bench last week for them. He just looks like he's laboring. He hasn't had much of an impact tonight on this left side for DC. And it's someone that they need. It's a position they need to get some more possession, to get them further up the field and ask questions of Columbus the other way.
They hadn't scored a goal since August, either side of an ankle injury. Referencing there, missed 4 games. Was lights out early this year. It's going to fall to Higuain here. Hamid backtracking. Higuain got a couple different runners, including Hansen, taking the shot himself. Third save tonight for Bill Hamid.
Oh, great kick, Bill Hamid.
Rooney brings it down. And split the options he had there. Segura running in, Acosta opening up wide. Pedro Santos now on the left for Columbus. Artur. The switch to Harrison Awful. More tracking, but can't do anything about it, at least at first. Awful back for Artur, looking to roll it and intercepted though by Joseph Mora. Attempted clearance came off the back of Mora's head. He's got more work to do. He plays it safe out for a DC throw. Great footwork to keep it away from Artur. Now the switch. Arriola. First touch dragged him a bit wide. He clips it in. It's going to stay in play. Mora there to get it. Support from Acosta. Acosta given the space to clip this ball in right to Zach Steffen. Not credited with a save so far tonight. The only shot on target for DC was their goal. And he's actually conceded on the last 4 shots that he's faced. Didn't make any saves with the 2 goals against Minnesota. The late penalty against Orlando a couple of weeks ago. That to Mora. Back from Assad. Assad scoop, finding Acosta. Hansen able to knock it away. Stepping in there was Moore in front of Zardes. Sliding through in front of Higuain was Canals. Fans like that.
I mean, they're really overloading this left side right now. DC with 5 players all over here, trying to create a little bit of space, and Columbus recognizing that, bringing numbers over.
Wind picking up, tension building, pace slowing a bit. Another tough ball for Briat to deal with from Hamid.
Isn't it? Yeah.
You just feel it getting tighter and tighter the closer we get to 90 minutes. Will Trapp gave us a great line last week actually talking about pressure. He's on the ball here. He said pressure says one of 2 things. It either makes diamonds or it makes dust. Someone's season will go to dust tonight. And the other will go on to face the Red Bulls in the conference semifinal. Nick De Leon coming across to come on as a sub for DC.
That's an interesting one. I wonder if they push Ariola into midfield.
Artur got there to that ball for Harrison. Awful's cross in. Ariola got to be safe on that one, able to play it in behind. It'll be the 7th corner of the night for Columbus. Ariola took that tough tackle from Valenzuela on the other end of the field earlier this half. We understand it will be Ariola off for De Leon, who had been starting at right back. And Ariola going down now. Injury hit season for Nick De Leon. 4 months out with a knee injury in the spring. He needed surgery. The rehab and rest wasn't working. He told the Washington Post, "It was killing me to not be playing here at Audi Field." He sat in 6 different places in the stadium to watch games. He couldn't take it. He was on the field. Well, if you know your DC United playoff history, this is a hero from playoffs past. The 2012 Eastern Conference semifinal, one of the great playoff series in league history. They had to reverse the legs between DC and the Red Bulls because of Hurricane Sandy. 1-1 draw at RFK. They tried to play the second leg at Red Bull Arena. Was postponed tonight because of snow. Then a late penalty won. Hamid was sent off, screaming in the dressing room, "They can't hold us back," tweeting angrily at Kyle Martini. Well, the penalty was saved by Joe Willis on as a sub, and then it was De Leon, his rookie year, scoring a late winning goal to give DC the win. Now can he revive that? A player, such a promising youngster, runner-up rookie of the year that 2012 season, injury hit years since. Set to be coming on for Paul Ariola, who's remaining down right now. And sort of what you alluded to a little bit, the playoff schedule. If DC win this, they got to turn around quickly on Sunday and play host to the Red Bulls in that case. And how bad is this for Ariola, one of their key contributors since he signed off the back of the Gold Cup last year? So given the green light as Ariola limps off, here comes Nick De Leon. 11th straight DC United playoff game that he has participated in. First sub of the night. Columbus, we said, one of the best goal-scoring teams from corners in the league this year. This is their 7th of the night. Higuain deep to the back post and sent in behind for another. So Higuain will set up now at the top of the box, actually. Pedro Santos will take.
Service from corners has been really poor for the Crew. Keep hitting the first man.
20 minutes to go. Here it comes again to the near post. De Leon got the touch. Junior Moreno gets rid of it. What's important to winning a game like this when it's getting so tight, when it's slowing down? What ends up being the difference here?
The composure. It's one of these games that you just feel there's going to be a chance, and whether that comes from a mistake or putting a team under pressure, and here's one.
Trapped there, miscontrolling it. Stefan able to get it clear.
And it's just maintaining also the composure of sticking to the game plan and doing what has been effective. So for the Crew, moving the ball quickly, creating spaces, getting the ball in the attacking third and executing. For DC United, making sure you're solid defensively, you're not conceding good chances, and then when you get an opportunity down the other end, can you do the same? Rooney and Acosta have been quiet recently.
Great tackle there by Morris, stepping in on Pedro Santos, trying to get the return ball from Higuain. Columbus bench upset they wanted a foul. Acosta unable to control that. Chapman, oh, here comes Acosta, and Artur having to be separated, shoves as well.
Well, that started with
Harrison Awful.
And Berhalter getting into it just a little bit.
Briant has come on a long sprint to get involved in this. Junior Moreno is being pushed away. You've got 3 sets of eyes here on the field. Alan Chapman, his assistant, Jeremy Hansen, the 4th official, Silvio Petrescu, Edvin Jurasevich, the video assistant referee, in case there's anything else that he spots in here. Higuain, the only player tonight to be shown a yellow card so far. Again, one of the most experienced referees in MLS trying to sort it out.
Both just pushing each other just a little bit, and Greg Berhalter reaching for the ball and Acosta pushing him back. I think that goes all the way back to the first half when it was down right in front of us, and Greg Berhalter was having a word, the 4th official over here, about Acosta off the ball, and it's all spilling over all the way onto the benches now.
You know what it is? It's fun.
It is. I love it. It's drama. Well poised.
It goes to Valenzuela. Valenzuela's cross into the traffic. Hamid is there. Wants to go quick for Rooney. He's 1v2 right now. Mensah able to clean it up. MLS on FS1, sponsored by Target. Expect more, pay less. Friends at Bank of California Stadium right now, getting set for the 4th and final knockout round game later tonight. That'll determine the matchups in the Western Conference semifinal. Win for LAFC puts them against Seattle. Portland would play Sporting Kansas City if RSL pull off what would be an upset based on their away form this year and LAFC's home form. RSL against Kansas City, and then Portland Timbers, Seattle Sounders for a 5th time since 1975 in the postseason. Here's Harrison Awful. Hansen running inside of him. Couldn't find the angle there as Moore cut him off. Birnbaum playing safe there to get rid of it. It's going to end up as a DC throw. Hello to the New York Red Bulls. Supporters Shield winners. Record in MLS history number of points. Most wins in a season in the post-shootout era. Where will they be traveling to for Sunday's first leg of the Eastern Conference semifinal? Into the space for Valenzuela from track. Valenzuela crossing in. Hansen trying to get there. Hamid, easy work for him. Wants to go quick. He's got Acosta in some space. That little hitch, though, before he got it away, allowing Jonathan Mensah to come across. Pressure from Assad to knock it away from Artur. Canals back for Rooney. Segura to his right. Instead, the clip in for Assad. Checked up on him. Able to find Acosta. Rooney making the run. Acosta trying to find him. It's too far.
Well, you can see what he was trying to do here. Acosta was looking for his wingman, Wayne Rooney. Just overhits it in the slightest and takes it past him. Doesn't give him a chance, but that was because it came on a turnover from Artur in the middle of the field. It was great work by Assad to win it back.
15 minutes to go. Maybe an extra 30 if we're still tied at 90 minutes. Here in the Eastern Conference knockout round. Hansen has got Harrison Awful in space to his right. Looking to roll that in. Awful with Zardes in the middle. The cross on the deck took a touch there. That was Canals backtracking. Pedro Santos making a run inside, trying to pick that up as the trailer. Check from Higuain, but he's knocked off the ball by Assad. Then clips Drops the back of Acosta. DC wants a foul. They're not going to get. Trapp has it. In for Higuain. Pedro Santos wide. Trying to dummy it off it there with Briant. Sardis got hit. He's limping. It's wide for Santos. He'll drive it over the bar.
We're just starting to see some chances open up on both sides now, aren't you? In transition. Well, doing that one, Zardes did take a kick, as you saw, and this is the wrong option here from Santos to have a shot from there. I know in the box he only had Hansen. He was 1 against 3, but it's a waste. It was up and over. It's a bad angle. It's going to be tough to beat Bill Hamid from there.
Can we show those expected goals numbers? Columbus, the most wasteful team, is measured by expected goals this year. DC, the most efficient. Columbus out shooting DC 10-5 right now, but the game is 1 apiece. Only 4 of their 10 shots have been on target. De Leon able to keep that in play. Contact with Assad, advantage played. Rooney picks it up. Saro sliding across. Help from Artur as well. Rooney into the middle. Moreno caught from behind there. Pedro Santos tracking back to break up the play.
Assad is still down after the play. He just looks gassed. He took a kick there, struggling to get back up and still limping gingerly.
July 14th is when Rooney arrived. It's when Audi Field was open. And look at that. Since in MLS, nobody has more combined goals and assists than those two. Rooney and Acosta. Unassisted goal by Frederic Briant for DC tonight. Can the two heroes, the catalysts of this remarkable second half run, push them over the line in the final 12 minutes, maybe extra time? Or will Columbus do what they did last year? Go into a hostile environment. A hot team in Atlanta, and they got out of there with a shootout win. Assad in trouble. It's going to be flagged by the assistant referee on the near side as a foul.
I'll tell you what, though, John, they're going to need those two players, Acosta and Rooney, to win this game tonight, because every time DC United right now in the build-up, they're waiting for Acosta to get on the ball. He's the one that looks capable of creating something tonight, whether he's dropping deep. He played that pass that led to the chance there with Rooney. They're always looking for him in those little pockets. Right now, he's gone centrally.
Assad quickly from Moreno, back for Rooney. He's got option on the far side there. Instead, he's going to play for De Leon. Now it's Ulises Segura. Acosta forcing Zardes to track back and defend. Junior Moreno, Nick De Leon, Moreno. Did that come off Zardes' arm in a great shooting position? No, it didn't, says Alan Chapman. And a little shoulder thrown in there by Canals to knock Zardes down off his run. Zardes is still down. Now slowly getting to his feet. He's been beaten up tonight. Acosta looking to escape. That's going to be a free kick for DC out of the wing.
I mean, there it's just Zardes' arm, but he knows nothing about it there. His arm is in what we call a natural position.
20,000 fans coming to their feet. 10 minutes to go in the knockout round. It's starting to shake in Audi Field, just like it used to at old RFK. Rooney lofting it into the traffic. Up in the air. Steffen comes to get it. It's loose. There's no whistle. It's cleared away. Segura wants the cross from Assad. Whether he meant it or not, it's going to find Rooney instead. Rooney driving it in. No one there for DC, though. Harrison awful under pressure. Hooks it away for a throw.
Well, DC United scored. They're really going to test the structure of this new stadium. The roof is going to come off.
Acosta able to keep it on Hansen's challenge. His cross right to Zach Steffen. And you think of all those fans back in Columbus, the ringer that they have been in for a solid year plus, the future speculation about their team. It seems like there's a solution going forward. We talked to some different people with the league and Precourt Sports Ventures. Optimism that deal is going to get done. Still plenty of work to go. But what about the team on the field right now? What about this situation on the road at D.C.? Acosta, far side Segura. De Leon making the run inside, giving him the space. It's blocked though by Pedro Santos. Canals. Nowhere to go with it. Moreno in for De Leon. A lot of defending right now for Columbus.
Yeah, it's a good little play there. Can you shift it quickly the other way? Bad decision from Assad. DC putting Columbus under pressure right now, John.
Emil Assad. But can they break him down? Canals looking to angle that in. Gaston Sauer read it well in front of Junior Moreno. Pedro Santos just wins the free kick. And DC United have sent a member of their bench staff down towards the subs, theoretically, to grab someone else to bring on as an option. Each team 2 subs remaining. Justin Merrim, one of them, looking on helpless right now. Awful. Higuain off the chest. Hands in a foot race now with Mora. Using his speed and his strength there to get it, but he couldn't keep it in play. Brought it down, kept it in play. Now what's he going to do with it? Just plays it out for a throw. Zardes couldn't hold it up. That ball's out. It's a Columbus throw. Acosta couldn't do anything with it. Acosta got it away. Mensah rising up over Rooney. Back to his feet quickly to pick up the loose ball. Pedro Santos. Santos from distance. It didn't miss by much.
I think Hamid got that. Yeah, I think he got a touch on that one. He was at full stretch here, John. Get a great look at this one from behind. Santos, Rion just backs off.
Oh, he did.
Yeah, what a great save.
4th of the night for Hamid, using all of his 6'3" frame.
Look, we asked Ben Olsen, we said, what's been the difference for you guys defensively? Other than changing the midfielders and the shape a little bit, he said Bill Hamid.
10th corner of the night to defend, though, from Columbus. Higuain sending it in. Mensah waiting for it. It's off the back of Hansen's heading out. We sort of asked the question of Hamid when we saw him in August, why did you come back wanting to make this new opportunity? But this is his home. This is his team. These are his people. This is going to be his night when all is said and done. 4 saves made, in front of which just been announced a sellout crowd of 20,600 here on this Thursday night in our nation's capital as the song gets nutmegged by Valenzuela. And now our tour looking to play it out. Higuain, looks like a handball there on Acosta. Columbus continue anyway. Higuain. Little toe chip there in for Awful. It's going to be out for a throw. Venezuela will cross it in from a long way south. Sardis got a touch to it. Moreno was there in front of Higuain. Rising up to win the header right to the thighs of Yamil Assad, and now he'll play into the space for Acosta. Rooney making his way in the middle. Fans coming to their feet. Luciano Acosta on Harrison Awful. Acosta rolling it in for Rooney, knocked away by Mensah. Sauro in there as well. Artur knocked away. Good work by Joseph Mora. Giveaway there by Moreno. Heavy first touch from Pedro Santos, though. Losing Oz for Canals, able to spin out of the traffic. Segura now needs to do the same. It's knocked off him. A 34-game season, a 4-day turnaround from decision day. Who's got enough left for the tank? Brillant intercepting that in front of Zardes. And the New York Red Bulls, off the back of the best regular season in MLS history and a supporters' shield, waiting in the wings for Sunday. Acosta couldn't split Awful, and Artur. Hansen picks it up for Higuain. Awful put a tough position there by the ball from Artur. It is going to be a foul.
Yeah, he catches him late. Awful doing a good job there just to skirt out of that challenge. He was under pressure in this near corner. They were trying to win the ball back quickly. Only a couple minutes left now. Who's got enough? Some tired legs out there. You can see it. Misplaced passes on both sides.
Collision there between Sauro and Artur. DC couldn't take advantage of it. Canals, though, good skill to bring that out of the air.
Canals has had a good game, John. He's positionally been really good for DC United, both against and with the ball. He's had some composure. He's not going to make that final pass that's going to kill a team, but he keeps the ball moving. He's made some really important tackles in the middle of the field.
6 months out with a knee injury suffered in the winter. Russell Canals returned in July. A part of it, Ben Olsen turned to us as the perfect storm of circumstances and players that all came together for this run for DC. Can they see it over the line, though? Word from downstairs of 3 minutes stoppage time to be played. What are you rooting for, America? Do you want a late winner, or do you want 30 more minutes in extra time? And the potential for a shootout as well as Mora gets that away from Acosta. Awful trying to recover. Luciano Acosta with Rooney in the middle. Playing in for Rooney. Acosta! Over the bar! It was a touch from Stefan. It was a save. The first of the night at the 90-minute mark from Zach Steffen to give DC United a stoppage time corner.
Well, I'll tell you what, Steffen makes a mistake on the goal for DC United, but he makes an incredible save that keeps one out here. This is what DC were looking for. Acosta to Rooney. It had all the makings of it, and he just tips that one and glances it over the bar. What a save.
91st minute. Fourth corner tonight. Wayne Rooney standing over it. Rooney's ball in. Body's flying in there. A couple of shouts from Columbus. They thought there was a foul. And Higuain emptying his tank, running around, trying to break that up. Now 2 minutes left on Alan Chapman's watch.
Oh, you just thought that was it, didn't you? That's what DC United, they have been looking for. Their two star men combining. Zach Steffen said, nope, not yet.
The switch from Canals. Awful tracking it, though, hung up in the wind. 90 seconds before extra time. Hansen under pressure, taken off the ball by Assad. Rooney running in at Mensah. Rooney, the cutback cross through the traffic, and Costa from his knees picks it up, plays it back in. Steffen looked comfortable with it. Did he get a touch of it, though? He was trying not to at the end. He did not. It's going to be a goal kick.
I was just watching Greg Berhalter when Hansen gave that ball away. It must be the most helpless feeling, just watching the other team break away on a mistake, thinking this might be the chance. Acosta with the left foot, and yeah, Zach Steffen does well. He just watches that one go wide. Doesn't get a touch on it.
Final minute of stoppage time before 30 minutes of extra time to decide this Eastern Conference knockout round game. Unless... Awful hooking that in the middle of the field. Segura's header met by Gaston Saro. Luciano Costa, hands and knees behind the play right now. Looks exhausted. How about Zardes? Does he have the legs on more to get there? It's going to be a Columbus throw. Final seconds of normal time. Hansen back for Zardes. Zardes given the space. There's no one in the middle, though. He is the target for those crosses. Back in for Artur now. How much of this will Alan Chapman allow? Segura clears it away. Chapman will look at his watch. Is there time enough for one more attack? Trapp will clip this ball across, looking for Harrison Offal. Assad wins the header. Extra time on the way at Audi Field. One apiece between DC United and the Columbus Crew. We need 30 more to decide this Eastern Conference knockout round game for Columbus. They've advanced 3 of the 4 times they've gone extra time. Of course, last year, the shootout win in Atlanta. 2 15-minute halves, long done with golden goal. There is now the 4th substitution available. New rule worldwide. And if we're still tied, 1-1, 2-2, 3-3, penalties on the way. Is there a strategy? Is there tactics? Or is it just, to sort of reduce it to a cliche, guts?
Guts are certainly a big element of this, John, because you have tired legs, you have mentally, you're drained. But this is what it's all about. This is what you play the whole season to get to. So you don't stray away from what your game plan was. You don't become a wild card and just try and win the game by yourself. You stay within, you wait for your moments, you continue to try and execute plays, you limit mistakes, and you go out there and you win the game. It's going to be fun, though.
Well, you do wonder, we mentioned a quick turnaround for both of these teams. DC had to go to Chicago, so they traveled as well as Columbus did to get in between Sunday and Thursday. One of the unintended consequences of DC's backloaded schedule, the volume of games they had in the second half this year. A lot of short turnarounds. Very successful in those games here at home, but at what point does it start to add up as Briant throws his head in there? Each team with now essentially, I think you have 3 full subs now available. Each only made 1. You have the 4th in extra time as Gaston Saro intercepted that from Acosta. He's still running right now. He goes down, holding his face. Higuain comes away. Alan Chapman unimpressed. And Luciano Acosta is down behind the play, so DC defending this a man alive. Mori intercepting the pass for Hansen. That ball stayed in play there as Assad tried to turn the corner. Acosta is still down, holding his face, and Alan Chapman will now stop the play.
There's been a lot of theatrics tonight from John Acosta. And look, yeah, he gets caught there, Higuain, but he doesn't even know he's there. He's trying to sneak up on him and get the ball.
All right, Katie, what's the word from the benches here before extra time?
Well, during the stoppage before this extra time started on the DC sideline, there were a lot of individual conversations, but specifically Bill Hamid went up to Steve Birnbaum and said, we've got to be more careful on those near post corners, specifically the movements that the Crew are making. Over on the Columbus Crew sideline, the message in the huddle was reinforcing this side that they're built for a game like this. But Josh Wolf said, we've got to use the ball, we've got to to move the ball and make DC run, but when we're on the ball, we've got to be smart.
Jonathan Mensah trying to play in for Zard as he's offside. Flag comes up as Higuain smashes it off the back stanchion. And if you're the Red Bulls, you're loving this. This is going to be an even more tired team you're facing on the road in the first leg of the Eastern Conference semifinal. Time to be determined on Sunday.
Well, you say that, but that certainly plays a factor with the tired legs, but it's also momentum. Yeah, no, that's a big part. I mean, look, the Red Bulls haven't played a game now since decision day, and they will be sitting there on their couches right now watching this one. But there's a team that somewhere mentally will have that momentum. One of these two teams that will be up for that game.
Segura, great work to find De Leon. Rooney's in the middle. Sauer, the defender. Knaus. Higuain on top of him. Segura, can he find De Leon? Trying to clip it in there. Sauer stepping in, getting it out for a throw. And second ball on the field there, anticipated by Alan Chapman. In for Rooney. Thought there was a last touch off a Columbus player. Indeed it was. Corner number 5 of the night for DC United. Just in case any of the still out 20,000 plus crowd were seating, they're coming back to their feet now. And it was Stefan mishandling a cross that led to Briant's opener way back in the 21st minute. Rooney, driven ball met by Zard. It's collision behind the play between Sauro and Briant, but they're both back to their feet, although it's actually Pedro Santos, and he's limping a little bit getting back in the play.
Who isn't limping at this point? I mean, there's been so many tackles. Every player right now is digging deeper and fighting through it.
You're starting to agree with us a little bit.
Oh, that's offside. That's a low blow, man.
Only we had some fun with these things. I thought I had recovered from Russia, but I just feel like we're back at Luzhniki watching the England-Croatia right now. So Santos continues to bend over and stretch out his calves. Right now, though, looks like 5 minutes gone on the 30. Assad trying to play in for Rooney. It's too far. Stefan is just going to get there.
Should penalties become a factor? We talked to both coaches about that. We watched DC United run through a few yesterday after practice.
Awful from Higuain. Awful crossing, and Higuain got his hand to it. He scores! Federico Higuain with his head. Columbus, from a first half deficit, have taken the lead in extra time.
Never mind penalties. Higuain wants to end this now. He picks it up in that nice little space where they had success in the first half. Between the lines, he gets it wide. He has a lot to do here, though. The ball from Alfo is behind him. Just watch his run. He continues into the box, right around the penalty spot. I mean, what an incredible effort that is. So redirected. He almost has to go back and get it away from goal.
That is the 57th goal Federico Higuain has scored, regular season and playoffs combined, for the Columbus Crew. It is the third that he has done so with his head. All 5'8" of him. And the man who's top 3 in the Crew's illustrious history in both goals and assists, who had another year tacked on to his contract. This time last year, there was speculation of whether he'd be continuing. Well, he has the Crew up. Now, what can DC do to respond? They got 23 minutes to find a tying goal. It was, in fact, the 58th goal for Higuain, his second of the night. Matt skills break down this late in the evening. They're going to go for more, perhaps. There's activity on the DC bench now. Zoltan Stieber, who's had a slower second half of the year, providing goals and assists, preparing to come on for DC, who certainly could not afford to concede a third. Alyssa Segura. Well, those two sort of interchangeable in the lineup this season. As the number we understand will be coming out worldwide for Harrison. Awful crossing, and Higuain looking for his hat trick, and Birnbaum just had to get out of the way of a mishit shot out for a goal kick.
One more look at that goal from Higuain, and just how he has to go and get that one. And just Bill Hamid, does he get a good enough push off there? He's made some really big saves tonight. There's a lot of traffic in front of him. Maybe he saw it late, but that header could not have been more perfectly placed into the corner.
Zoltan Stieber. His last goal was in August against New England. Had a slower second half of the year. 12 combined goals and assists after his 2.5 season a year ago. 30-year-old from Hungary. Trying to help lift DC out of this hole. They took the lead in the 21st minute. Just the second time this year that they scored the opening goal, failed to win at home. Pedro Santos running in. De Leon had to get the tackle right and did. And Pedro Santos again after the end of that play, stretching out his calves, bending over. We asked Ben Olsen yesterday, do you have to win this game to validate what you've done the last 3 months? And he said, yes, we do. Don't want to diminish the accomplishments, the turnaround, getting the buzz in the city back. But yeah, we have to win to keep this thing going. Junior Moreno pulled out for Darren Maddox as DC's next sub coming in the next few minutes. De Leon under pressure. That ball stayed in play, but it'll end up as a goal kick. 100 minutes played. Here comes Darren Maddox, career high 10 goals this year. They won't get the sub in just yet. He was the starter until Rooney showed up. Since just 2 goals in 9 substitute appearances and a handful lately of just games sitting on the bench, not even getting on. Did have, though, a 1-game winner on his resume this year. September the 12th against Minnesota as they came from behind DC to win 2-1. That was one of those 2 goals scored as a substitute. Zardes able to get the touch on that to Nico Hansen. Briant knocks it away. Ben Olsen rather optimistically trying to point the other direction. And here comes the change. So defensive midfielder off and a forward on. Third change of 4 for DC here in extra time. Team in 7 MLS seasons for Maddox. Number 2 pick in the draft in 2012 for the Vancouver Whitecaps. And the word from the DC bench is basically, Nick De Leon, you stay at home. We got a second forward out there. It's clipped across to Valenzuela here. Does very well to bring that down on De Leon. Now he'll cross it into the back post and Mead there in front of Hansen. looking for Maddox and found him, but no one there on the flick. And has the air been taken out of this building again, or what?
Yeah, Columbus Crew doing a really good job right now, John, of still sticking to what they do, which is possessing the ball, trying to move it around, trying to kill this game, forcing DC United to chase. And as they start to edge up and win the ball back, there's always an extra man, and they're catching them in behind a couple times. This game's going to open up more even this in the second half.
Tough tackle there, but a clean one by Assad. On awful, says the referee. Assad has it back from Acosta. Rooney waiting for it in the middle. Acosta has it instead. Canals dropping off for it. There's Zoltan Stieber. Came on a few minutes ago as a sub. Rooney trying to return it. Broken up there by Will Trapp, who then got caught on the foot. Second time Trapp stepping in. De Leon, chance to come forward. Trapp tracking him. De Leon into the middle. Assad the flick there. Maddox trying to take a touch. De Leon's trying to get in there. And it's going to be shield off for Stefan. Valenzuela putting his body on the line there.
Well, I'm not sure why Maddox took a touch there. He had a look at goal. He tried to turn the other way, turned into pressure.
Zach Stefan is down.
Yeah, and Stefan at the end was really brave, John, to come out. De Leon was trying to get on the end of it. It was a loose ball. He throws himself into that one and smothers that ball.
Stefan just credited with one save tonight. It was that late one in normal time.
Watch this flick around the corner here from Assad. And now, first time, because then the gap is gone. He turns into awful and loses that opportunity. And this is the one, it's actually his own player. Or does it, oh, it's De Leon's left leg. Yeah, it catches him on the head.
Keep an eye on Zach Stefan. A little more than 15 minutes ago, we're approaching halftime of extra time. Hector Jimenez for Columbus preparing to come on. Starting left back through much of their playoff run a year ago is Stieber for De Leon, out for a DC throw. We'll see if Alan Chapman gives any stoppage time to this first half of extra time. Not for the first time tonight. A second ball on the field. Did this come from a Columbus player warming up? Because one of them has just been shown a yellow card by Alan Chapman. Couldn't quite see who exactly he was giving that card to down there.
There's a few guilty faces, wasn't there?
Briand rising above Zardes. And it was given to Eduardo Sosa, added as the last man on the bench today. They traveled 19, they dressed 18, Columbus. So 1 minute stoppage time has been given. 30 seconds left before we'll stop, switch places, and go again. As it stands, Federico Higuain heading into the 96th minute, the second latest goal in Columbus Crew history. In for Stieber. Can he do anything with it? Able to keep it in play down in the corner on Gaston Sauro. Able to find Nick De Leon. De Leon through traffic, redirected. Stieber keeps it in play. Back for Acosta. He couldn't control it.
Oh, he was just trying to roll it. Acosta with the studs to open up and get a shot. Great work by Stieber, though, in the corner.
Halftime of extra time. That whistle's going to come any second. Steven Birnbaum is coming into the box, trying to get a long throw from Nick De Leon. Here it comes. Birnbaum flicked it along to the far side. Assad knotting it down. Rooney takes a touch. Rooney looking for space. Trying to roll it in. Too many yellow-shirted bodies. Cleared away. Halftime of extra time.
Take a deep breath. There's going to be more chances in this second half. And the Columbus Crew have to figure out a way, John, to continue what they did in the first part of that half and relieve some of the pressure, because you know DC United is just going to pour numbers into the attack. They're going to be testing with crosses. They're going to be throwing bodies into the box. The half chance. And what do the Crew have defensively? Can they see this result out?
This was Higuain from Harrison Awful's second goal tonight. 5 minutes and change into extra time.
He just picks his spot here, Higuain, and look at his body shape when he goes and gets that one. He's facing away from goal to redirect it and to pick that corner out. It was an incredible finish for his second of the night.
We said the second latest goal in Columbus history, the latest. Crew fans will tell you, 2015 Eastern Conference semifinal, Kai Kamara in the second half of extra time to complete a comeback against Montreal in the second leg of their series. Part of their run towards an appearance in MLS Cup that year. And that was Kamara's second goal of that night. Well, what about Wayne Rooney? What about Luciano Costa? That's why they invested upwards of $13 million in him in July. Nights like this.
Yeah, Berhamid just went over to the section behind the goal and trying to get them going. They need a lift from this crowd. They need anything right now. The home side.
Columbus are going to hold the Jimenez sub. Josh Williams, the center back, another player that looks like he might be coming on, but we'll wait. Second half of extra time underway. Rooney battling to win that ball for Assad. Tough challenge with Pedro Santos. Columbus furious. Santos down behind the play. De Leon continues in. Rolled in for Stieber. Back out wide for Acosta. Acosta lifting in the cross. Too far for Rooney. Awful gets his head to it. Santos is down. Columbus with 10. Zard is carrying forward. Higuain's wide open to the far side. Nico Hansen has it now. Briant has seen him. Pedro Santos is still down in the center circle.
Yeah, he took a really tough challenge. It looked like a 50-50 on the first one. I think it was from Assad. And the Crew players aren't happy with that tackle. And let's see, I think he just got away from Assad a little bit. And he knows he's not going to get there. Yeah, look, he takes the little half step as he lines up for it, but he goes to play the ball, and it's actually on his follow-through after the ball's gotten away.
Assad and Gaston Sauro there. Throwing arms at one another. A pair of Argentines talking. And Hector Jimenez, who, as we said, was preparing to come on. Mentioned he'd been left back for most of their playoff run, left back last couple of years, but he's a natural midfielder and a left-footed player, so he would be an option just to take up that spot from Pedro Santos. It would be the second sub of 4 for Columbus. Santos helped to his feet in an awful lot of pain. And this is just going to be more and more time. At 120 minutes tacked on by Alan Chapman. We're going to need a stretcher. The DC fans are booing, but from a pragmatic standpoint, they're going to get this time back anyway. As Hector Jimenez, now in his 5th year with the Crew, and he's ready to come on. Boy, they're still chirping about that down there. Knaus and Trapp exchanging words.
Well, first and foremost, you hope that Santos is okay, because it was unfortunate. It was two players making an honest challenge at the ball, and he caught a significant amount of contact on his leg on that follow-through after the pass. But look, it's not a yellow card, it's not a red card. It's just one of those plays where two players are going and competing, and let's hope he's okay.
So they'll make the change. Jimenez will come on for Santos. It's worth mentioning, we talk about this save the crew, and the crew, it appears, being saved. One of the key members of that prospective new ownership group is the team doctor. Dr. Pete Edwards Jr. is going to be down taking a look at Pedro Santos' real concern for this injury as he's being helped off on a stretcher. So the sub made, one more for DC, two for Columbus. And a lot of stoppage time to be expected once we hit 120. DC still chasing a tying goal. All right, Katie, what's the word for the benches down there?
Well, John, in that huddle, before we restarted again, the message from Ben Olsen and also DC assistant Chad Ashton was reminding their side how many attacking players they have on the field, saying we've got numbers, we've got to get forward, exploit the dangerous areas. But then the other point that Chad Ashton brought up was our center backs have to step up higher in the midfield and win every ball. We can't neglect that space.
Might have a little bit of concern. Luciano Acosta has been laboring a little bit the last few minutes. He's now jogging to get to the ball, but it's behind the plays, putting hands on knees. He's got it from Assad. Acosta, Rooney. Cut off by Jimenez, the substitute. Wide for Zoltan Stieber. Stieber to the traffic, redirected wide. Gaston Sauer going to touch. It's out for a corner.
We talk about all those attacking options. Wayne Rooney's dropped into a central midfield position, which means he's now joining the attack late, looking for opportunities. I think Zach Steffen would have had that covered at his near post.
111th minute. Look at Acosta again on the left, doubling over, but he's getting back to his feet. Rooney to take the sixth corner of the night, lifted in. Birnbaum got his head to it, but a comfortable save, just the second of the night for Zach Steffen.
And he gets up well, Steven Birnbaum, but he's got a lot to do there from that area. It's a floated ball in from Wayne Rooney.
Early ball long for Jossie Zardes. He's going to get there on Briant. Came from Valenzuela. Back for Jimenez. Higuain wants it in the middle. Instead dropped off. Artur. Awful. Hansen wants it rolled in. Awful instead. The cross takes the awkward bounce there from De Leon. Briant couldn't do anything with it in a collision with Higuain. And now the 11th corner of the night for Columbus. We had seen Pedro Santos take a lot of these corners tonight, particularly from this flag. Swinging them in with his left foot. Federico Higuain coming across to take it. He's got both the come-from-behind goal and the winning goal tonight as it stands for the Columbus Crew. Higuain lifted it. Zardes was up for it, as was Briant. Jimenez trying to hold it in. Stieber, that came off his shin, but it finds Rooney. A lot of traffic, but DC able to play out. What have we talked about? The home team dominance of these knockout round games for a 4-year stretch through 2016. They won 11-12. This would be now 4 of the last 7 knockout round games won by the away team. Columbus, 2 of them, if it holds up. Flipping significantly what had been the only real home field advantage that existed in the MLS playoffs since we started doing knockout round games in 2011. And against a DC team that has been lights out since opening up this building in July. 12 wins, 2 losses, and a draw. Most points ever won by an MLS team through 15 games at a new stadium. But here they are, having taken the lead in the first half. 7 minutes and a couple more of stoppage time away from being knocked out. Hansen knocked down by De Leon there. Assad picks it up, trying to play and drop it in for Acosta. Mensah, Artur, great touch to get away from the trouble. The flag does come up there. That ball was out on Harrison Awful. Assad couldn't go quickly, though, because it stayed in play. Year-old Federico Higuain running around like it's nothing right now. Extra time of the 35th game of the season.
Watching them closing down the ball still. Look, this is what it's all to play for. This is, if you lose, it's the last game of your season, so leave it all out there. And that's what the Crew are doing so well right now. Even they could just be sitting back in a low block and inviting pressure from DC United, but what we talked about in the break, John, was if they can possess the ball, they relieve some of that. If they press higher up the field, they don't allow the ball in dangerous areas. They've done a good job of that so far.
Maddox trying to get himself involved since coming on as a sub, wins a free kick.
And that's what you want to avoid, giving away free kicks in these areas, because you know, here come the big boys. Everybody's coming up from the back. Right now, every single player from DC United, other than Bill Hamid, is going to be in and around the box.
5 minutes plus stoppage time to go in extra time. Columbus trying to push their line higher right now. Rooney driving this in. Birnbaum waiting for it. Got his head to it. It takes a bounce. Zardes only as far as De Leon!
See the set piece, and you invite pressure, you invite bodies in the box, and anything can happen. Zardes struggles to clear, but how about that? Nick De Leon on the half volley with the laces through it, through traffic. Absolutely nothing that Zach Steffen can do to get it. And De Leon comes on as a sub, and here he is. What technique. Just look at it, right through the middle of the ball. It's dipping. And there it is, Steffen, no chance. It's a silly free kick for the Columbus Crew to give away. They haven't allowed any clear-cut chances through the run of play. It's been 2 set pieces and 2 goals for DC. Here we go.
Valenzuela kept that in play for Jimenez. No foul there. Out for a throw. Nick De Leon, the hero at Red Bull Arena in 2012. For the moment at least, the hero at Audi Field in 2018 with his first goal in over 2 injury-hit seasons. 3 minutes plus a lot of stoppage time separating us from a shootout. Valenzuela. Rooney touching away from Higuain.
I can tell you, John, it's moments like that you dream of when you're going through long injuries. It's what helps you get through it. You picture yourself out on the field producing that type of moment. And if they go on to win this game, he's going to be the hero.
He told the Washington Post this summer he had some doubts about whether he could get back from this one. Knee injury in the spring. The rest of the rehab wasn't working. They had to go to surgery. He's got a family now. He said in an interview, I really wasn't sure. Well, what a moment. But the job's not done yet.
It'll be interesting to see how much time they had on, too, for that Santos injury. That could be anywhere close to 3 or 4 minutes.
DC can still make one more sub. Columbus 2. Columbus brought Adam John on right in the dying seconds in Atlanta last year. He ended up making the clinching kick in the shootout. Patrick Mullins, we understand, who DC traded to Columbus this summer, is preparing to come on. Higuain trying to no-look it in for Hansen. Assad wouldn't be fooled. And Assad dumped to the turf.
DC have actually switched their system a little bit since they've scored that goal. They've dropped Acosta and Rooney in alongside Canoes.
Higuain looking for Zardes. Too far. Took an awkward spin there. Had to be hooked away by Birnbaum. The spin of the ball and the wind took it away from Hamid. That could have been disaster. Columbus back at it. Will Trapp, their captain, the hometown kid. Out for Harrison Awful. Awful, deflected cross in. Birnbaum, boy, the wind is really whipping now, particularly on that side of the stadium. That is just a breath from the supporters. Steps in to take it away from Trapp. He's got Maddox running in front of him. He checked his run, thought he was off, but there was still a deeper man back Sauer when it breaks down. Trapp getting away from Knaus's challenge. Boy, there's debris now being blown by the wind out of the field. Nico Hansen gets sandwiched, trying to get back to the ball. It's poked away. Rooney cut off by Jimenez. Told to get up. He's screaming at Alan Chapman. Higuain will tee it up. It's blocked by Birnbaum. Chapman now barking back at Rooney. It'll be Mullins for Awful if and when they get the chance. Jimenez crossing this ball in, caught up in the wind, diving headed by Mora. 3 minutes of stoppage time still to come. Maddox won the header. Acosta not going to get there. Sauro got it clear. And the header will go out from Birnbaum. And Berholder doesn't want the sub. He wants to get Awful this ball back into play quickly. Trapp checks his shoulder with Maddox behind him. He's got option to the far side advancing Milton Valenzuela. In for the substitute Hector Jimenez and back out. Trapp, it's Artur Central. Instead it's Higuain in the turn. Rooney not tracking him. Higuain couldn't hit the target.
Yeah, that's the second time now, John. Wayne Rooney, he just looks gassed. He's got no legs, and he was close to Higuain, and then he didn't choose to go and close him down, and he had another clear look at goal.
Third substitution. You have to imagine this is with the shootout in mind. Defender Harrison Awful coming off. Patrick Mullins, who DC traded away for a song in July. His 11th appearance now for Columbus. Lost his starting spot to Darren Maddox in the preseason. Lost his spot on the roster to Wayne Rooney in the summer. And he come back to haunt them. Still time, though. 90 seconds of it for a goal before the shootout. Rooney's heroics to Acosta. That magical game against Orlando in August. Maddox got his heads out over Mensah. Zardes tracking back to help defensively. Knaus out-wrestling Trapp in the middle for it. De Leon, the hero as it stands, picks it up. 116th minute goal. Canceling out Higuain's in the 96th. Big run forward by Assad. Mora elects to hold it. 60 seconds or so on the watch of referee Alan Chapman. De Leon in for Zoltan Stieber. Across for Wayne Rooney. Hooking it further wide for Luciano Costa that drug him wide there. Crossing in was Acosta. Heading away was Mensah. Acosta, was he fouled? Yes, he was. A free kick for DC in the 123rd minute.
And not a soul in this crowd sitting right now.
Nor, I imagine, too many watching at home. With the wind whipping around, with the crowd roaring. And Yamil Assad, just off the edge of your picture, is trying to pull himself as far as possible from the Columbus defenders and sneak in. Wayne Rooney will send this ball in. Steffen is tracking it. He's got a comfortable catch. And is that all? Alan Chapman looks at his watch. What'd we say? 2 shootouts and knockout games in MLS history, and Alan Chapman has been involved either as referee or fourth official in both. It's about to be all 3. There's the whistle. Shootout on the way here at Audi Field after a remarkable 2-2 draw. What a night, what a scene here at Audi Field. What a game between DC United and the Columbus Crew in this Eastern Conference knockout round. We go to the shootout, same as Columbus did on the road in a phenomenal scene in Atlanta, and that man was the hero. Zach Steffen made 2 saves in the shootout. Saw 1 kick miss as Columbus advanced at the expense of Atlanta United. It'll be Columbus to go first, and the same man who stepped up a year ago to take the first penalty, the same man whose head put Columbus in the lead in extra time, and the man who opened the shootout by scoring a year ago in Atlanta, Federico Higuain, stepping up to take. Bill Hamid has not faced a penalty since coming back to DC out of the summer. He's never faced a penalty in his playoff career.
And it was interesting yesterday, John. Ben Olsen said to Bill Hamid, he didn't save one in practice. He said, you will do it in the game. You will get one for us.
Higuain, 7th year with the Columbus Crew. Bill Hamid, his 9th year with DC United in front of the United supporters to get us started in the shootout. And just as he did a year ago, Higuain is true with the opener.
Oh, ice cold. All that anticipation, the long walk-up in front of the supporters section for DC United, and he just has the composure. He picks his spot early, and he rolls it in the corner. Now, it was interesting. Wayne Rooney, who's been their penalty taker, scored a couple this season for them. He looked like he had heavy legs towards the end of the game. Does that have an impact now? You're not going to tell him not to take one, but this is your star guy.
Has made all 3 for DC since joining him this summer. Went bottom right against New York City a week and a half ago. Saved by Zach Steffen.
There you go. It's almost a distraction, too, for DC United, how quiet it got in here. It was almost all the attention was there, but there you go. Wayne Rooney stepping up in the moment. Is that tired legs? Is it not? I tell you what, it's a great save from Steffen to get all the way across his goal and make that save.
The captain, the hometown kid, Will Trapp, one famous penalty shootout make in his career. It was for the high school state championship at Crew Stadium that he made the winning penalty kick in 2009. This is a kick with slightly more eyeballs on him. But he makes this one too.
2 great penalties from the Crew. He points back at Zach Steffen saying, your turn again. Good composure, comes across his body, and then hits the side netting.
Emil Assad, DC United paid $500,000 to Atlanta to get his rights on loan from Venice Sarsfield this winter. Scored the first ever goal in Atlanta's history last year. Was subbed off in the second half against Columbus in the knockout round. Steffen saved the first 2 of the penalty shootout against Atlanta a year ago. Could he do that again? And Assad wants to replace the ball. You see how much the wind is whipping around the net on that goal. But boy, it is deathly silent. At least it was. And he's still struggling with that spot. And boy, can this put off a penalty taker in their mind if that ball's not perfectly placed?
The answer is yes.
Assad sending Steffen the wrong way. And DC off the schneid here in the shootout.
Yeah, good composure again from Assad, who, by the way, is impressive for him to get through 120-plus minutes tonight, just coming back from injury, and then to step up again and tuck that one away.
Career-high 19 goals for Jossie Zardes this season. Made 3 of the 4 penalties that he has taken with the Columbus Crew. An MLS Cup winner with the LA Galaxy in 2014.
And he's having trouble on the spot as well. That ball's moved 2 or 3 different times.
Third round of kicks. Save!
second guesses himself. Josie Zardes had a little bit of a stutter step there as he was running up to it. And Wayne Rooney, he's happy. Belhamid's got them one back.
Can they square things up here in the third round? It's Zoltan Stieber, second-half substitute, who comes on. A decade of professional experience, mostly in Germany. Was involved in 2 relegation promotion playoffs in his time there. Went to the 2016 European Championship with Hungary, scored a goal against Austria. Has not seen nearly as much playing time in the second half of this season. Trying to square things up. And he does!
Oh, what a great penalty. Stefan goes the right way. And if that's not hit as perfectly as he hits this, look at the speed on it. Just picks the spot, goes across the body, and that's side netting again. Tremendous technique.
Nico Hansen made in the shootout in Atlanta last year. Second-year player out of the University of New Mexico.
Oh, it's a short run-up. They're going to go for power here.
Hamid the wrong way. Columbus just keeping their noses out in front.
Yeah, that short run-up, you're just going for placement there, trying to send the goalkeeper the wrong way.
This is not yet do or die for DC United. It is Luciano Costa, who steps up now, has made the one penalty he's taken in his 3 years with DC United. A player reborn since the arrival of Wayne Rooney. You saw he and Rooney, the 2 most combined goals and assists this season in MLS since the middle of July. Can he keep things square, though, in the 4th round of the shootout? Another save! And Columbus now on the verge.
Oh, Zach Steffen, what a great save. Acosta goes with the solo run-up, so he's trying to wait for the goalkeeper to go. He's trying to wait. Steffen doesn't even commit. He just tries to throw him off, makes it act like he's trying to go early, and then he pushes off. He reads it. Great save. And
to win it now for Columbus, the man that DC traded away, he was surplus now. They didn't need him. They had Maddox, they had Rooney, $150,000. Nothing that they got in return for Patrick Mullins, who came on as a sub in extra time. If he makes this kick, Columbus for a 2nd straight year goes on the road, wins a shootout in the knockout round. Off the post, DC still alive.
It moved right before he went to hit it. Watch this on the replay, the wind. It moved on the ball. You can't see it on this one, but as he goes up to run it, the bait just bobbles on the spot. And whether that caused him to miss or not, and look, you can see Higuain's coming over and saying something.
Columbus players are all arguing that it should be retaken as a result, and they're being told to go back by Brian Puchel, the assistant referee. So here comes Nick De Leon, the hero at Red Bull Arena in 2012, the hero tonight in the 116th minute to force the shootout, but he still has to make this. He has to make this kick to send it to a 6th round. If it's a save, it's a miss. Columbus still win, and he missed it! And Columbus do win the shootout after all. For a 2nd straight year, they pull off the shock away from home in the knockout round.
The crowd is stunned.
2 goals from Higuain. 2 saves from Steffen. Shocked disbelief by the 20,000-plus sellout crowd at Audi Field, but it is the Columbus crew. What did Greg Berhalter tell us yesterday? We're not coming into this with massive momentum. They had won 3 of their last 10 games, but he said, he told his team, we got to find a way to get it done anyway. And they have.
And what a shame for De Leon, who was the hero with that late equalizer and then that penalty at the end. What a mixed night for him.
And it is, unfortunately, our Heineken moment of the match, but it was the decisive moment in the end. The 10th and final penalty taken. Nick De Leon over the bar.
You can see him, he's leaning back as he goes to take that one. What a performance, though, Columbus Crew. To get it done again, to find a way on the road, John.
Let's hear from Zach Steffen, and he is live down to the field in the wind with Katie.
Zach, I know you've said in the past you hate PKs, but man, are you good at them. A stop against Wayne Rooney and then a huge stop against Luciano Acosta. Did anything tip you off? What did you see on those?
No, I mean, it just comes down to instincts and your gut feeling. I don't like them. I get nervous, but at the same time, it's a thrill.
With everything that you guys have been through the second half of this season, clearly this was an important win because you're still playing. But what does this win do for you?
I mean, this is a huge win. I mean, we came to D.C., this amazing stadium, and they're such a special team. They went on a special run like we did last year, and we needed everybody to keep going and keep our season alive, and that's what we did.
And you're going to keep playing. Hey, appreciate the time. Congrats.
Thank you.